I would like to call to order the meeting of the West Bend Community Memorial Library Board for Tuesday, July 18th. It is 5:17. May we stand to say the Pledge of Allegiance, please? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okie dokie. I'd like to call for a consent agenda to approve the meeting minutes from the May 16th meeting and also the library expenditures from May of 2023 and June of 2023.
I make a motion to approve.
Second.
You second, Brett? Okay, Brett second. Okay. Is there any discussion? Well, I will discuss. And part of the reason I am discussing is a lot of times I will, not a lot of times, I would say every month I call Steve and I say, what is this expenditure for? So I would like to share with the board things that I look for in the expenditures, just, excuse me, just because I don't know what they are. Take a drink.
Yeah. That's just a,
Still there, but not at all the way it was. For the May expenditures, you had some charges to Granger, and I was just curious what those were. But I saw the
glad you
commercial
asked.
on Granger, and I think I might know, but go ahead.
you don't probably. But the events that we have that for our HVAC are, I don't remember the name of it, but Mark said that they're similar to what they had in the boardroom at the City Hall. And they create higher pressure. They don't distribute air very well. And he said, would you like me to change those out? And considering our backup with the air handling already and the pressure that's being created up there, I said, that's a good idea. And that will be more efficient for us so that we'll get more cold air down or hot air down to where it needs to be at a better rate. And we won't have the pressure build up from these. So he's changing those. We'll see more of those
Charges?
He's changing 10 at a time.
Okay.
We got a couple of them donated from projects that he did in the past. And they're all different sizes, so he has to get all the different size things when he pulls them out. But it will look nicer, and it'll be a better, more efficient system when it's done. He counted 120. He stopped counting after that.
We have a lot.
There's a lot. So as long as we have money in the budget, I said go ahead for that.
Okay.
We had some rollover or carry forward. What do we call that here?
Carry forward.
Carry forward. Different terms everywhere I go. I'll get used to that in a couple more years probably. Now I've got a few more years before I retire too. So
Thank you. The reason I question Granger is as I go through these, I've learned and asked what some of the charges are. Like the GFL environment, it's like, you know what that is? That's cleaning up the doggy doo in the front.
no, that's
Isn't that-
yeah,
recycling.
Is that the recycling? Which
That's
one is the
recycling.
doggy doo?
we don't have doggy do.
Not anymore? Somebody cleaning those?
We our custodian takes the bag
one
and dumps
point-
it in the garbage can.
We used to.
We
because
might
I
have
did question that.
charges for replacement bags.
Okay.
Dog Spot, I think, is the
Okay.
product. And the first year I did buy enough for 2 years supply, but they didn't know where it was, so they did order more after the fact. That's why we got charged for it.
Okay.
Why are we getting more bags? I have enough.
Okay. That was it for the May. When we go into the June expenditures, there was a charge to a Dean Dirge for 17. Dirge?
Dean Dirge is the railings that we got fixed in Patrons Park, and I believe we put that in building maintenance, the park fund. I figured it's me.
Okay. I was just curious.
I could be wrong on that.
Okay, then another one I looked at that I hadn't seen, might have seen it, the interstate power system. For 600.
Interstate power is, they test our generator, they load test our generator every year, and that's what that is.
Okay.
And the other one that's new is the Monotronics, which used to be
Yes.
Able.
Which used to be what?
Able Security, they're a security company.
Okay, I was curious. I had that down,
And they
Monotronics,
changed to
$300.
Monotronics.
Right. And the last one, which is probably an easier one than some of these, we had a $30,000 charge for Monarch. And what is that actually for?
That's all the things that Monarch provides. And it actually went up 1,700. Is that what
Something
we came
like that,
to?
yeah.
From last year to this year. We did get the bill late, so we typically get that bill earlier in the year, and that's why it seems a little out of whack that we had the late bill and it came in 3 sections instead of paying it all at once. So, but it's the same services. So that is Pharonics. Do you remember all of them?
Siberian, the deep freeze, the
ILS.
ILS. Now, some of those items we are under, we have a contract with the county where we get 50% of that back. Some of that money returned to that regard.
Thank you. So I just wanted to share with the board that those are things I do, and it has helped me learn some of the things for the library and get more on top of, it's not just books. All righty. Is there any discussion on this? Otherwise, we have a motion and a second. I'd like to call for a vote approving the consent agenda. Do we all say aye or in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Okay. Financial reports. Joseph.
Yes. So there were 2 months. There were quite a few checks going both in and out.
Mhm. I guess from the checks in and out, let me just say this. I would like to say thank you to the individuals who have donated money to us. Delta Defense for the summer reading program gave us $1,000. Glacier Hills Credit Union gave us a donation for the story walk. Cornerstone Bank also gave us a donation. Glacier Hills gave us a $500 donation. Cornerstone Bank gave us a $250 donation. And Pleasant, I think that's Valley, not Valley.
Yes.
Okay. Valley Vet Hospital gave us an additional $200 for the summer reading program, and that was given to us in May. And I'd like to thank those businesses for their generosity in helping the library. And then in June, we had a donation of $100 from the West Bend Lions Club for the summer reading and for Bank 59 for summer reading. So I'd like to thank those organizations. We really get good support from the community for our summer reading program.
Yeah.
I didn't see in here how many children in the summer reading. Do you know offhand, Brad?
We don't have those numbers just yet.
Okay, it's
Erica's
still
going to give me that data at the end of
this month.
this
Yeah.
month. It's just easier.
I'm sure we had a lot though, because there were enough at the.
Well, I've got a small little thing I'll mention that might give you an idea.
Okay, all righty. So I'd like to thank those people. Anything else, Joseph, you wanted to report?
No, that was about it.
I do have one question for Steve. We still have money coming from the county, correct?
Yes.
Okay, do we have one payment for the county or two? I know they do it, usually we're doing it quarterly, but did they change that?
Well, I was
They might have
looking,
changed it to semi.
I was thinking we have one more large payment from the
Yeah,
county.
it would be a large one, because I've been
Yeah.
monitoring the expense funds and looking at.
I
what
thought we were at 80% of our revenue if I looked at that, and I thought, well, that means we have something coming yet,
Yeah,
and that would be a larger check.
okay. The other thing I did take notice of, the roof is done, but the money hasn't transferred yet.
Right, and that will be coming from the capital offset will be wiped out, and then a small amount from the emergency fund. It so far it turned out to be a little bit less than we expected, so we won't be as much out of the fund.
Good.
So that's good news.
It is.
Mhm.
And do we have to send anything to Carrie to do that, or will she
It
just,
is-
once it gets billed?
Already done, and I think
Oh,
what
okay.
Carrie might do, if she doesn't do it now, she might do it at the closeout of the year. So those funds will
Oh,
be.
so we could see them until the end of the
It-
year when she does a true up.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think that's typically what she would do. So,
Okay.
but she may do
I'm
it.
sure they won't
before,
forget.
and they won't forget. The money has been spent and the bill has been paid.
All righty. Does anybody else have any questions for Joseph? I do see the interest rates going up a little bit. We're getting
Yeah,
more
a
than
little
$2.
Yeah.
Okay. Library director's report. Steve.
The only additional thing that I can remember to talk about, and I might send out a report later on because I didn't send out staff reports, and I think we got staff reports recently, so you'll get the staff reports shortly after this meeting. There's two things really. I did order a bunch of stickers. There is a statewide sticker order for I Love My Wisconsin Library, and so we're going to get some really cool stickers, and I ordered a bunch. So there'll be we don't know what the exact pricing is, but I probably spent $900 or maybe $1,000 on stickers.
Isn't it something like 10 cents a sticker?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whoa.
So we'll see what that turns out to be. The projected was 10 cents a sticker, but that was dependent on how many are ordered, and I essentially doubled the order when I did that. So if other people take the same step, we might get a much lower price, which will be great for advertising Wisconsin Library. It's a cool sticker. I didn't get the one with the characters on it. I just got the I Love My Wisconsin Library.
There's just one design.
There's five designs, but I only got the one. I got this one.
Oh,
He's trying to be all
love
inclusive.
Yeah.
it. Okay.
So, the other ones had a character of a cow, which I'm not sure that all children know what that animal is anymore because you don't see them in the field. They're all in barns. And the other picture is a badger, but it kind of looks like a skunk.
Yeah, it does.
So
It does look like a skunk.
And the cow doesn't look that much
Cow doesn't
like
look
a
like a
cow
cow
either.
Agree. I think you did a good job. Yes.
The other thing I wanted to say is when we moved the YA collection upstairs, I did take off a section of each of those rows that after watching a ADA webinar, and I knew that shelf spacing, the minimum was 36 inches, and I think the new stand, the preferred is 41 inches. But what I did is actually just taking off that end piece. My intention was to give them at least turnaround space. If you're in a wheelchair, you'll have enough room to turn around at the end of the aisle, which I think is very important. And wheelchairs are coming in all different sizes. But I also re-spaced the shelves, and I didn't take any shelves out, but it looks like I could have taken some other areas and came up with a nice wide row, and I really like it. So I hope that you get up there and take a look at that. At least where the graphic novels are and the manga is where it's spaced really nicely, and we can potentially do that in other areas to approach at least one aspect of ADA accessibility. And I don't think we can do it throughout the library, but we can do the best we can where we can when we move things around. It looks really nice and comfortable. I said we can fit two people in this aisle and chat. So
Yeah.
So it's uncomfortable when you're like,
yeah.
Agreed.
The other thing is at the bare minimum, I'd like to get a little bit more space in the aisle so you can actually turn a cart around in the aisle, because when you're shelving and you don't always want to go all the way down, turn around, and then all the way back. So it'd be nice to do that eventually, but we'll do what we can when we can. That space will look nice when it's done.
And Steve, I just want to interject. I know we didn't get the staff reports yet, but I've been here a lot over the summer, and I am loving everything that I am seeing with the children's programming and everything else. The balloon drop that you just did, so cool. Even some of the bigger kids did it, and I was like, So came and watched that. I mean, just
Did you see the egg drop?
yes, that's what I meant was the egg drop.
Oh, the egg drop,
Yes,
not the
over at
whole-
the fire
okay,
station.
Yes, when they
Yes.
walked the kid, I thought that was so neat that we're coordinating with
Yes.
the fire station. I thought, oh,
Yeah,
wow.
it was kind of exciting when Terica said we can't go up in the tower because it's closed for some reason. I can't remember what it was. And I was like, the fire department has a really big ladder. And
I think the kids probably like that better than the tower.
I think that was a better choice. So,
And I got there and I was like, oh, they're going to just drop them from the top of the building. And then when I saw the
The
giant I thought, well, this is going to be interesting.
Yeah.
But they did really well. There
Yeah,
were
there
Pretty
were so
awesome.
many that lived or didn't
Right,
break.
Yes.
I think she said almost
Almost
all of them made it, if not all of them made it. So
No, we know
very
that.
good.
That's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We know of one that
We
broke.
saved a lot.
So please tell your staff they
Thanks.
are doing a phenomenal job.
We
They-
got
they-
an awesome staff, and we do have a new circulation member on our team. So you'll see her around. Her name's Jada, and yeah. So
Is this week her first week?
this week was her first week.
Okay.
So yeah. She's fantastic, and she wants to be a librarian when she grows up. Well, she's grown up; she's an adult. But, and I guess she technically gets the title of librarian just because she works in a library. So, but she thinks that this is what she wants to do.
Very good.
I know Brad had some things to add to my report.
Yeah,
So
Steve
I'll
thought
turn it
that
over.
he thought it was not fun for me not to report like all the rest of us, so he told me find something, so I did.
And I said it's okay if he does it verbally instead of writing it out. Like everybody
It's more
else.
fun to have my audience here. So to your point, talking about, the summer reading program, I did look at the door count actually I looked for the whole, up to the middle of the year. Well, the doorbuster is June so far at 23,690. And that brings our total count right now to mid-year at 104,670, of which June is 22% of the total. Just to give you an
And
idea.
that was Steve going back in and out.
I helped once or twice, but yes, you're quite true.
As often as I can.
And that actually brings me to another point, circulations. Steve and I have been watching our circulations, in particular in relation to mead, which is the bigger one. And I can report that over the last 6 months, we have jockeyed back and forth between mead and us. Most of the time, 4 out of 6 times, 200 are good, 200 they're good, every other month roughly. Actually, February, March, April, and May. January, mead beat us by 2,588. In June, last month, we beat mead by 6,593 to give us a grand total of 41,989 for the month of June.
Wow.
As of right now, as the tally of the tape reads, we have 205,686 total circulations. Mead has 201,642. We are ahead by just over 4,000.
And
By the middle of the
they're,
year. And they are the biggest library in the system.
We're doing it with half the resources. Less than half the
that is
resources.
phenomenal.
Mhm.
I mean,
Do they know that we're in a competition?
They
Yeah,
probably will not.
we might need to get,
I've been very quiet about it when I've seen Jared, and I'm waiting until our budgets are closer aligned, then I will make it more of a thing. But it's
that's
really
a
great.
statistic, though, for you to report at the Common Council
Yeah.
meeting that
Can you send it?
we are, even if you just say we are beating mead, which, I mean,
I
and this
often-
is a tribute to the whole entire staff of the,
Yes.
and the board.
Yeah.
No, to the staff, it is,
Yeah,
yeah.
you
Well, it's a team effort, and the board is part of that. team.
Well, and the team is working very well together. You can just see the camaraderie when you come in. I mean, one of the things I was going to ask, though, I was at the grocery store today, Myers,
Oh,
first time,
Fancy.
not at Myers, but they took down the shields.
oh,
They took down the shields by the cash register. Do you ever think we will do? I'm not saying if the librarians feel it's better having it
Yeah.
up, I don't have a
we
problem.
did take down the shields at the reference desk, and there is one member who prefers to have the shields up, and I think that there's a solution for her to put up the shields.
And that's fine. That's
Feels
why I
like-
said, the world has changed. We're in a little
Yeah.
different environment now after COVID, and you want to make sure people are safe. So.
Right.
But it was so nice. The clerk there was just like, I said, something is missing. And she just beamed and said, yes, isn't it nice? You know, we need that interaction with people.
Probably worth having the conversation again because people's feelings change.
You could always have one at the front desk, and the person, if they wanted to specifically use that one, could wait and stuff. But that's just me. I like
Yep, I
talking
appreciate
face to face.
the reminder to talk about that again because I think that's important.
Okay. Anything else?
I'm not done.
I'm sorry. You should have just told me. You should have said.
Next thing I want to point out is we had gotten some concerns, we'll say, from our neighbors about our lights in the park. As we noticed, they seem to have taken on a mind of their own by going on, going off. For those that actually did that, one that actually stayed on all the time. Turns out they're woefully out of date, bulbs burned out, et cetera, et cetera. We had JSB Electric come in, and what they did was he took out the 150, or he took out the bulbs and the ballasts. A lot of ballasts were dead. And he replaced them with 150-watt replacements in equivalent to LEDs. And then he took out the ballasts as well. So we don't have to worry about ballasts anymore. And what we've got in there are 4 Kelvin, which is 4,180 lumens, 27-watt lights. So check it out. They're a little whiter than the original lights we had, which had more of an amber color.
Did you check with the neighbors?
Actually, I checked myself.
No.
And we haven't heard anything.
Oh.
So I figured
nobody's
no news is
complained
good
yet.
news. Yeah.
There were complaints when we first
Yeah.
put the park.
Okay, the lights, yeah.
They're actually probably, in some ways, more muted in some ways.
I would think
They
so.
don't seem as intense simply because they're lower wattage.
Okay.
So it looks good. If you get a chance, you have nothing to do on a Saturday night, 10 or 11 o'clock, just take a swing around.
That's
Be my
good.
recommendation. And the last thing I want to point out is our staff printer, copier, scanner, Wonderkin machine is a bit long in the tooth. It is at least a decade old, if not older. And invariably, the vendor says, we don't have parts anymore, or we won't have parts anymore. So we looked at the option to purchase new ones. So we looked at 3 vendors. We looked at Canon, Forward TS, and Impact is our current one. And in the end, we decided to continue with Impact, and we are going to be purchasing next year, and it'll be rolled into next year's budget, a Kyocera Task Alpha 255 4CI, which is our main printer. It's a monster of a thing. If you're a Doctor Who fan, it looks like a Dalek, I think, but I'm not sure. And we're also getting as a backup a tabletop printer, a Kyocera EcoSys M8124 CIDN. The entire package comes in at $6,429.
How much? I'm sorry.
$6,429. Yeah, that's combined. If it was one each, I would be a little concerned. And we get a 5-year maintenance program, which will cost us $351.73 a month, which is actually less than what we are paying now. Because it is newer, they have the parts, it all makes more sense. Service, parts, toner, all included. So something breaks, they're out here.
Any questions for Brad? You want to know the scary part? Brad, Karen, and I were here 10 years ago when they bought the other one.
If you'd like, when we get the new ones, you guys could be here for the decommissioning ceremony.
That has lasted a long time for the amount of copies
You make,
got a
yeah.
lot of service out of that thing.
Mhm.
Hopefully the next one lasts just as long.
Thank you, Brad.
Yep.
Are you finished now?
I am now done.
Good.
You may proceed.
Okay. You have anything else, Steve?
Nope, that
Nope.
covers it for me.
Okay, library director's report. The only thing I'm reporting, I'm tentatively going to be on a vacation in November, and I forgot we changed the date, so I will be missing that November meeting. So what that means, people, is in September, I'm going to be asking for you to have the
Earlier.
early evaluation of this gentleman. So I'll get some forms out. It won't be due till sometime either like the end of September from you back to me. And at our October meeting, we'll go over the appraisal.
I gotta go back to the director's report because you just tripped the memory for me.
Oh, sure.
I will be out next week, Wednesday, and then the following, through the following week. So,
Speaking of events.
for sort of a vacation, sort of a not working here. So,
Okay.
but I'll be running on waterfront at a Boy Scout camp for a few days, and then playing a little bit of golf. Since
Thank
it's not
you,
warm
because
enough
it'll
here,
probably rain those days.
probably will. Yeah.
No, it's going to be hot.
It's coming
Well,
there.
okay,
And then I
have
will
a
be
good
going to
vacation.
Austin, Texas with my wife for a
Oh,
conference.
okay.
So
Oh, it'll
that'll,
be
Hot
hot.
dog,
that'll hopefully,
be-
it'll be
yeah.
nice and cool down there and hot
Yeah.
up here.
And is Mr. Brad?
Mr. Brad's going to be in charge, so he'll be
Oh boy.
taking
I'll
naps.
have to stop in a few times and
I got some ideas.
Okay, well, have a great vacation.
Everything is fixable. So
Okay. So what I will do in the next couple of weeks, I'll send out the form
Okay.
that the city has so you can start thinking about it and stuff like that. You'll have plenty of time. All right. Any questions for me?
Nope.
Moving on, agenda items for consideration. Reimbursement for youth market expenditures.
I have an update on that. I did say that it was going to be $200 last year and $200 this year. I checked with Terica today. She said she didn't spend that much, so I would ask for $250 total. So she may be out of the business next year of trying to support these kids if we do the youth market again.
What this money is for is we have the youth market. Not all of the youths make things that are desirable. Terica will go to some of these booths that are not selling and purchase the stuff so that she helps the children
Yeah.
build their
I
confidence.
saw it last night when I
Mhm.
really wanted to
don't
go.
cry.
Yeah.
Sweet.
It was
I know.
really crowded.
It was so
It was so
nice.
crowded. It was very nice. I'm sorry.
Perfect weather.
And I think having it at Badger was good, you know,
Yeah.
and the because of parking and all that
Yeah.
stuff. So I think that was a really good
more
idea.
It worked very well.
But anyways,
Youth leadership.
Yes.
Now that I think about that.
what was that?
I-
Well, anyways, because of the fact that she's buying from the children, we don't get receipts, so we can't do anything. So it would be money we would take out of our checking account. So I guess I'm asking if someone would make the motion to, without watering up those eyes.
I second
I
the
just
motion.
buckle right away, like, oh, okay, just
I know, when I heard that, I thought, oh, that is the sweetest thing, you know, so you're building up the confidence, you know.
that is awesome.
I'll second.
Yeah, I
Okay.
make a motion to repay Tara.
Is there going to be another one yet this year? Or are we done?
There is, and she may not purchase at that one, so she, if
She
things,
probably will. These kids, not all these kids are
Yeah.
that creative, let me
Yeah.
tell you. Steve was telling me that there was one that it was just a, it was like a
it
lump
was like
of something.
just a lump of plastic and multicolors, but it was just a lump of plastic, and
But you can't, it's
not
the
symbolic.
creative, no, it's the creativeness and stuff like that.
as
Put themselves out there.
as it grows, though, parents will maybe take that role and
Do stuff.
solve the issues if there's somebody that needs
So-
a bit of attention.
So we have a motion and a second to repay Terica for the purchases. I'd like to see them for some of the purchases of this stuff. But I'd like to, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. All right.
Yeah. Well, I would suggest you go to the youth market and say, Terica, I got this one table covered.
Oh, but I think it's so sweet. I mean, these kids, they really put their hearts out into
Yeah.
this. Oh, and then, I saw the pictures of the police getting the cookies and stuff like that. And
That was
so
super sweet. The police gave him like a baseball card or
Oh,
something after.
did they? Yeah, that was
Very
really
nice.
good. Good community connections,
Yeah.
I think. Okay. No, it said in the fall
Was it
for the
October?
I thought
holiday
it was
one.
October.
I think it's October.
It's a holiday.
All right, fine structure.
All right, so I did send out the information. Kewaskum is moving to fine-free for children's materials and 10 cents for everything else except for hotspots. And I think that's all they designated, but we have other things that hotspots and adventure pass is what they designated. We have other things that we want to get back, so we charge a little bit more for fines for those items. I would imagine the 5 Washington County libraries have talked about this at length, and they're all looking at the fine-free for children's, and I would recommend doing it at the same time Kewaskum is doing it, because it does change people's behaviors. In fact, library staff have said to me, the fines are cheaper at Slinger, so I go to Slinger to get my books,
And
even though they work here in West Bend.
you know what somebody said to me today? I live in Slinger, but I come to West Bend like the library.
Well, that's nice.
That's a lot bigger too, yeah.
It is a nice library, I gotta say. So it keeps
So-
getting better.
You are
Um,
proposing,
I'm proposing that we go with the same timeline that Kewaskum does to change our fine
when's
structure.
that,
September, was it, I can't remember what it was,
1st or something?
first. And
And
Make-
what would the fine structure be?
so the children's material would be fine free, so people would check out children's material wouldn't get fines if they're overdue. Then the adult materials would be 10 cents a day, which is pretty much standard in the our Washington County anyway. There is a cap, and I think is it $5
$5.
per item?
Right.
And typically it'll get to billing for lost item in short order, so before it probably reaches that cap.
50 days.
Yeah, we'll get it, like, it's almost like 2 months before actually
Do
get
we
into the billing
Have
process.
many people that keep them that long? Or really?
Proportionally, it's not that many. Brad has a stack that he
I have,
monitors.
yeah, I mean, I watch to see if any are gonna be $100 or more in lost material. Right now,
Okay.
we have less than 2 dozen that have been in that
Category.
range.
I know at one point we had the police school.
They still do.
They still do.
Yeah. At $100 or more, triggers a whole system that I got set up.
Well, in the past, I have been deadly against the fines because of teaching children and that responsibility, but I've been won over. So I don't have a problem. I know, I'm kind of, you get after a certain age, it's like you just kind of, I'm not crying,
Oh.
but but I I guess you can change an old dog. One of those things. I will, so I would support it, so we can make the motion, but does anybody else have anything to say?
At what?
Is it 60 days for lost?
It becomes officially, the bill goes out at 30 days, 31 days, when the bill goes out.
For the book or
For
whatever?
No.
the item, yeah.
If they return the item, it reverts to the fine.
The
so
long
they're just-
overdue fine, the $5 mark. Now, if someone has $100 or more in lost materials at the billing point, they are sent a certified letter and given 2 weeks to reconcile. And at that point, if they haven't, I gather all the evidence and then I submit that.
I'm just out of curiosity. I mean, I check out a lot of books. I mean, if I lost the 8 books I had the other day, I don't know if that'd be 100. Well, it could be 100 if I didn't bring any of them.
Average price on a book is $35
Oh, is it?
for an adult book, I would say. Our cost is a little bit less than that, but maybe it's 30.
30, I would say, is probably the
Yeah.
average. Children's books, 15, 20, they're really all over the board.
Mhm.
They can be as little as 10. I've seen them as high as 25.
Well, you know me, I'm cheap. I never pay a fine. but I do have a friend who's in everything's returned. But she did make a comment to me that she didn't finish her book and she had to pay 50 cents, but it was well worth it to
Yeah.
finish
That
the
is
book.
awesome.
I've definitely done that. Yeah.
So,
I have paid a lot of library fines myself. And I work here, so it's
and that's the other thing. We are supporting the library if we pay the fines.
Yeah.
I am planning the budget to be less for fines for next year. We'll
That's
still,
true.
But we haven't reached our target for fine revenue anyway in the last several years. So,
We need
Yeah.
a motion. Yes, Karen.
Oh, so you want to make, no, you can make,
I think
No, I
Karen was
don't know. You
making
should
the
make
motion,
the
weren't you?
I make a motion that we bring our fine system in line with what Kewaskum is doing in their timeline. Which is,
We have a motion and second. Any further discussion? If not, all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Okay. All right. Our next regular meeting is April 15th.
August.
August. Oh, don't ask me. April, I'm looking at it and I'm saying August. Okay. I've lost a few months. August 15th. Do we have any assigned?
We do not.
No,
No assigned. Wow. Have
'cause
a
I'm
good
taking care of
month this summer, everybody. I don't know if everybody's going to the tomorrow. Yeah. But have
I
a
have
good
to.
time. You have, she's playing.
I'm playing, I
She's
have to
playing.
go.
I got to hear this great band.
Between my sets, I have not been playing that much, so after about an hour and a half, I'm going to die. Unless I have a lot of beer.
Well, maybe we can buy you a beer.
No, we drink, that's part of the deal, we
Oh, it's
drink for
part
free.
of the-
The city's buying the beer.
Nice.
So have fun and meeting adjourned.